Alright, what is up, everybody? I am currently sick as fuck, so what a better time to make a tier list. Yeah, we are ranking all of the Lies of P bosses from easiest to hardest. Just recently finished the game. This is one of the best Souls games I've ever played. I have played Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I played the new Wukong. I played a bunch of Souls games, and I recently played this one because it was the PlayStation free one of the month. This game was fucking amazing. This is definitely in my top three best Souls games of all time. The bosses were hard as fuck, some easier than others. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming in at dead last, number 24, the Door Guardian. This was probably the most underwhelming boss fight I have ever played in Souls. You're nearing the end of the game here. This is one of the last bosses of the game. I think it's like the fourth last, fifth last, something like that. And as you can see, this guy just eats damage and goes down after one hit. You enter this area expecting this guy to, be a fucking tank, but you get his health down after like 7 attacks. After I get this little stagger here and hit him for the stagger, you can see how much damage this guy actually takes. I mean, this is definitely, without a doubt, the easiest boss fight in the entire game. I don't know why they put him here this late in the game, but easy number 24 spot, that's for sure. Coming in at number 23, we have the Corrupted Parade Master. Kind of the same thing as the last guy. This guy's pretty late in the game, and you're expecting the bosses to be really hard. Even Gemini, like right before you enter this area, says basically that the next boss is really hard. He says, I'm reading some signs that the next area, the next boss is really hard, and I'm thinking I better prepare for the next 3 hours of my life being dedicated to this boss. And yet again, this guy just eats damage. I think I only had to heal once, and that is the only reason why he ranks above the Door Guardian. They're both some of the easiest fights I've ever had in Souls, and for it to be this late in the game, it is embarrassing, the fact that they die this quick. So, yeah, number 23, Corrupted Parade, bitch.
That was the easiest fight of the game.
Coming in at number 22, we have the Puppet of the Future. They should rename him to Puppet of the Dog Shit or something like that, because I mean, this boss isn't really meant to be hard. There's a couple more of them in the later game. The only really annoying part of this fight is that it's standing in poison. It's like the poison swamp of this game. But yeah, not too hard. It just takes a really long time for him to get staggered, but you really don't get hit by his attacks unless you just roll weird or something. You kind of just smack away at his legs. This guy definitely wins the award for most boring boss of the game, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Puppet of the Future, more like Puppet of the Past, you know what I'm saying? Coming in at number 21, we have Backstab Larry, aka Robber Weasel. This is our first NPC fight of the tier list, and the reason why he is ranked so low is because NPC fights are hard in this game when they are in a very closed, tight space, you know what I mean? Because they kind of just bum rush you and attack you with a lot of stuff. But this guy, like, hits are so delayed, and like he has this move where he kind of just jumps up in the air and slams down and just leaves it wide open for a backstab. He's able to get pulled like you see in there. So I basically just spam backstab, broke his weapon, and only really had to heal one time. Just kind of dodge, backstab, hit him back up. Just kind of a slow process, but definitely the easiest NPC fight of the game. Coming in at number 20, we have the Mad Donkey. So this guy is definitely harder than the Robber Weasel, only because his attacks are like strength based and it's more delayed, and it's like damn near impossible to get a backstab on this guy. But at the same time, you do a lot of damage to him early game, and the parrying isn't that hard. I had to rank him low on the list mostly because I didn't die to him. I never really died to him in my playthrough, so he's going to get ranked at number 20. I can definitely see, however, somebody struggling on this fight, if it's your first playthrough or whatever. So he could definitely get bumped up a couple of notches, but for me, I didn't die to him. I think I only had to heal once or twice in the fight, so definitely wasn't that hard for me. Coming in at number 19, we have another side boss, the Survivor side boss. The reason why this NPC fight is a lot harder than some of the other ones is because of how close the space is. It is like you get one dodge and you're up against the wall. His attacks are pretty fast, and for an early game fight, it's like decently hard. I didn't really understand to backstab him this early in the game, so it was kind of a more difficult NPC fight, but at the same time, I didn't take any deaths to him, but I definitely used up all my heals. At number 18, we have the Parade Master. This is the first fight of the entire game. I beat him on my second try, actually. I feel like his moves are pretty choreographed. The only thing about this fight that makes him hard was his, like, long arm sweep attack, because I kept trying to dodge around him. You know, it's pretty much a boss fight where it's more like Souls-like than a parry game kind of thing. So you kind of just had to keep getting behind him, doing the heavy charge until he gets to his second phase. Then it becomes more of a parry kind of fight. But he was pretty easy to stagger since I picked the, strong weapon class. I feel like that made it a lot easier on my playthrough, but yeah, really wasn't that hard. The second phase was a little difficult being the first boss, but I only died to him one time, so can't really rank him that high on the list. At number 17, we have the Black Cat. It is another NPC fight, and if you've been paying attention this far in the video, one, congratulations, thank you so much. You don't have that much of a TikTok brain, but this fight isn't that hard because look at how much space they give you, especially since this guy uses one of those long pole weapons that you'll see throughout the game. This is definitely the easiest weapon to counter, in my opinion. You kind of just the parry timing really isn't that hard, and if you just block, you can get your health back easily with the next attack. I don't know if this fight is supposed to like be pretty easy because, his whole lore is like his eyesight's kind of ass, which doesn't really make sense because he's a fucking cat. But yeah, the weapon was pretty easy to beat. A lot of room, didn't die to it, used like a couple heals, but for him being this late in the game, he should have been harder, in my opinion. At number 16, we have the King's Flame boss. Now, this might be a little shocker. I feel like a lot of people might move him up. I don't know if this boss was supposed to be easy. I feel like a lot of other people might have struggled with this boss just because of the ranged attacks and like the second phase. It's not really a second phase. Once you get his health down to half, he kind of does more moves. But I only died to this boss once. I beat him on my second turn, and I really wasn't that like anxious or nervous while fighting the boss. I feel like his moves got learned pretty quickly, and the fire attacks were annoying, but I learned pretty quickly to just kind of sprint away and then run back to him. The moves weren't too bad. It was another one of those bosses where dodging is better than parrying, in my opinion. You hit him with the charged heavy, try to get the stagger in. Yeah, the whole like flame like damage was really fucking annoying, but then I just equipped the thing that takes away the flame, overtime effect, and it really wasn't that hard. So I beat him on my second time, only died to him once, so I really can't put him too high on the list. But if it's a boss you struggled with, I can definitely see him being put up a little bit higher, but can't for me. Gotta move on. Coming in at the number 15 spot, we have another side boss that you might have missed in your playthrough, but it is the Owl Doctor. I feel like a broken record here. You know exactly what I'm going to say. Look at this tight-ass enclosed combat quarter. This guy's got a big-ass weapon, too. I don't know why, but this motherfucker also has a ranged attack where he just throws something at you lightning quick and then jumps at you. That leaves him open for a stagger, so it really wasn't that hard, and I did enough damage throughout this fight to beat him pretty quickly. But this fucker took all my heals. He wasn't a cakewalk compared to the other NPCs, so I had to put him a little higher on the list just because I used like all my heals, but I didn't die to him, so still not too bad. Coming in at number 14, we have the Walker of Illusions, and he got dog walked. Absolutely. I really didn't use that many heals for this fight. I probably healed like 2 or 3 times. Um, Really not too much to say about this fight. I don't even really remember it that much because I beat it on my first try. I do have to say though, very, very cool boss. Like the whole, making a clone of himself, but the clone not being too hard. I definitely can say I don't remember a single move that this guy did. I didn't memorize, any of it. I just kind of, oh, he's charging something up. Let me dodge real quick. Let me heavy attack him. Let me dodge real quick. Let me heavy attack him. He got pretty staggered. I really would put him lower on the list just because I didn't die, but I used enough heals and it took long enough to beat him that I put him this high, but realistically I could move him down a couple notches, but I already put all the spaces out, so I'm not going to. Coming in at number 13, we got the White Lady. I think it's just because of her outfit though. Who knows if she's white underneath that mask, but yeah, this is another NPC fight. As you can see, the arena is open except for this is the only NPC in the game that I can think of that parries. Maybe the Red Fox does. I'll have to go back to that later, but yeah, this fight was interesting. It took all my heals. I did not die to this NPC boss at all, but first try. But as you can see there, I only had one heal left, so I definitely had to lock in at the end there. It was a little bit of a cheat clincher, but not too bad. This was definitely one of the harder NPC fights of the game, though, just because she was fast as fuck. Her moves just came out of nowhere. Really hard to predict, so it was kind of a lot of guessing on the parrying the first time I fought her. And yeah, that whole parry thing was annoying as fuck because it looked like she was about to attack you, but it was really just a parry. So yeah, really not too hard, but definitely the harder NPC fights of the game.
As your sister, as promised, we always match.
Coming in at number 12, we have the Scrapped Watchman, aka probably my top 5 favorite bosses in the game. When I first fought this boss, oh my god, I was hype as fuck. This boss was so cool to do for the first time. But yeah, he comes in at the number 12 spot because I died to this boss 2 times. On my third attempt, I beat it. I mostly kept dying to the grab attack because it looks exactly like his charge up hit. So I kept getting grabbed by him. And then on my third attempt, I realized I'm not a trash bitch gamer, so I locked in. But definitely one of the harder fights of the base game, like the start of the game. I can see how people can die to this a couple of times, but me and my buddy Sean, who just got the game, both died to this 2 times, and on our third attempt we beat it. So it really can't be that hard, Lightning can't strike twice in the same spot unless you're unlucky. But yeah, Scrap Watchman wasn't too bad. His moves are a little weird, like they're not very they're telegraphed, but there's a delay in a lot of them. It's kind of weird. So it took a minute to get used to. The electrical shock around the map was weird seeing it for the first time because before that it was just enemies who had a certain amount of moves, and then there wasn't really stuff in the environment. So he doesn't break the top 10, but kind of a difficult boss. Coming in at number 11, we have the Red Fox. Now, this is kind of a weird one to put this high up on the list because I actually did not die to this boss. However, this being that late in the game and I had to use all my heals to beat it, I decided to put her a little higher on the list. She didn't break the top 10 because, like I said, I didn't die to her, so she wasn't that hard, but definitely the hardest NPC boss of the game. This is put, I think, the third last boss of the entire game. If I'm thinking that correctly, I'm pretty sure I am. So, this being that high up, you're kind of expecting a little more, even though it is just a like side boss, so she can't be that hard. But her moves came out very quickly. It was hard to parry fighting it for the first time. But once you get the rhythm of it down, it wasn't too bad. You don't really ever get a backstab from her because she moves around so fast, but she was pretty easy to stagger. She didn't have that much health either, but she did do a lot of damage, so it doesn't go too high up on the list, but a pretty decent, back and forth you go with her. So she makes a number 11 spot at least.
No one knows style like me.
legendary stalker. I didn't want it to end this way.
I am Victor, the champion!
Coming in at number 10, yes, you made the top 10 spot, surprisingly, Victor. I actually only died to Victor one time. I really considered putting him lower on the list, except for this man has a lot of health. It's literally just Bane. The second phase is literally just Bane. He kind of just snorts a bunch of cocaine and then goes crazy. The only reason I put him so high up on the list is because it was pretty easy to dodge his attacks, but he just did so much damage. You know, I beat him on my second try, so he really wasn't that hard. I think that this game really only has 5 insanely hard bosses that took me a while to beat. You know, so the top 10 bosses, they're getting a little harder, but still Victor can be moved down a couple of spots. He really wasn't that bad. He's a cool boss, but not really that hard. Coming in at number 9, we have the Mad Clown Piece of Shit Puppet. I only died to this boss 2 times, and on my 3rd attempt I beat it, but oh my god, for this just being a little side boss, I don't know what it was about it. I could not get the timing down of anything, and he had so much health for no reason. His whole wind-up move where it flies at you, I could not parry it for the life of me. When he jumps up on the ground, you think he's done, and then he does this dumbass spin attack, which you can parry a bunch of times, but only on like your 2nd or 3rd time fighting him. There's no way you're parrying all those on your 1st attempt fighting him, or at least I couldn't. I thought I was going to be stuck on this fucker for a little bit in my 1st attempt, and then I realized he really wasn't that bad on my 2nd and 3rd attempt, but he had some moves where you just should not have been getting hit. He wasn't a hard boss necessarily because his moves were hard to telegraph. He was a hard boss because you should not be getting hit by half of the things he throw at you. Like, his hitbox is just weird. So you are not a hard boss. You are just a fucking poorly designed one. And that is why you get number 9. But I hate this boss with like a passion. Coming in at number 8, we have the Aura Farmers, the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. I love this boss fight. This boss fight is sick. I don't think it's because of actually doing the boss fight, but throughout the Souls games, I've been pretty good at doing the gank boss fights. I don't know why. I feel like a lot of people hate them, but I actually really like them, especially Shadows of Yharnam. Shadows of Yharnam are in my like top 10 favorite boss fights of all time. I love gang fights for some reason. I think I'm just good at keeping space. But yeah, this fight's really cool. I mean, I love how each person has their own unique thing. You know, the main guy here is the strength one. One has a like spear type. One has 2 little like daggers. And then the final one has like a mix of everything. But yeah, this boss fight, I believe this took me 4 attempts, maybe 3. I think it was 3 to be honest, but yeah, this one's definitely harder than some of the other ones. This is one you actually had to like lock in for. You can just really like dodge, hit, dodge, hit. This is one where you have to constantly be ready because they could just fly in and like hit you at any moment. And then the fact that the other people don't even have like a real like boss meter, they're just kind of like additional things you have to worry about. is pretty tough. The only reason why this fight wasn't that hard is because the game goes easy on you and really only one of them attack you at the same time. So you can really just focus on one, and then when the other guy charges in, he just hits you and then runs away again. So this fight wasn't too hard. I love this fight though. This fight was sick. Only died to it like 2 or 3 times though, so it's not going to go in the top 5. It is going to go at number 8.
Damn you. You'll pay for that.
Holy shit, it's deja vu. We got the Black Rabbit Brotherhood again. Back to back is crazy, I know. But yeah, so you beat them the first time and then they come back later, except for this time it is all of them attacking you at once, or 3 of them, and then once you beat all 3 of them, then the final guy comes out, and it's the strength guy that you fought in the first one. I think this is sick. I love how that they took the first strength guy from the first one, make him the main boss, and then the other like side ones, and then in this one you have to beat all the side ones, and they all have their own unique health bar, and then once you kill all them you get to fight him. This fight surprisingly only took me 3 attempts. On my 3rd attempt I beat it. Like I said, I think I'm just good at gang fights, but this fight, it seems hard as fuck. I think the only reason why it wasn't that bad was because they die pretty quickly. They don't really have that much health, and they get like hit out of their combo after just one light attack. The only annoying thing about it was the one that puts decay on your weapon, but they don't really charge you that much, so it was pretty easy. I was actually kind of disappointed I died to it twice. I felt like I could have first tried it. But yeah, still not too hard. The only reason why it is so high up on the list is because, like I said in the other one, you have to be constantly getting ready to block, getting ready to attack by 4 people, but this time, now all of them are attacking you at once, so it's definitely a hard fight, but like I said, I'm just a god at gang fights, so I only had to fight it 3 times, so can't put them too high up on the list, but they do break the top 10. Coming in at number 6, we have the Fallen Archbishop. So, this is the first boss of the list where I actually don't remember how many tries it took. Definitely took over 5. Why this fight was so hard was pretty much just because of the decay. You know, it's one of those fights where it hits you like one time and then you get decay on your thing. You have to constantly try to fix your weapon while trying to get hits off. And then the other really annoying thing about this fight was looking at him and it swinging, you really couldn't see when it was going to hit you because its fucking face was blocking it every 3 seconds. The second phase was the problem for me. There was a couple of attacks that I didn't know I could just perfect parry. I thought I had to dodge roll it like the whole time. So it did a lot of damage to me. Doing this boss now that I've actually played through the whole game, I think I could probably beat it quicker, like obviously, but what was the breaking point for me was I had to realize that I can just attack the same side the entire time. I thought during the second phase you had to attack the thing that like sprouted out of it, but you didn't have to. You could just go to the backside and attack the same thing you just were. So that was kind of the turning point where I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a lot easier than I thought it was. But it still took me, you know, more than over half of what it took me to beat the other bosses. So he definitely had to go high up on the list. And I think that's going to be the same for a lot of people.
Is it not magnificent? Distilled immortality and a key that opens a world with no lies. A key that unlocks true evolution. Give thanks. Ergo is a gift from me, Simon Marnus, who will transgress even God. Bow down to your God, who will be born now!
Now, I understand that this is actually probably going to be a little bit of a controversial pick. You might be wondering why the second to last boss of the entire game is ranked in number 5 spot, but I was actually completely underwhelmed by this fight. I'm not really sure why it wasn't harder. I'm pretty sure I beat this on my 5th or 6th attempt, if I'm not mistaken. I would tried counting it, but this fight is so long because, you know, it has 2 phases and it has a lot of health, but I think the reason why this fight wasn't as hard as I thought it would be is all the projectiles and, like, you know, the hand comes out of the air and touches the ground, and that whole effect is like, it does a shit ton of damage. Like right here, you're seeing it's so easily avoidable, and you know, the disruption's really annoying, but I never died to disruption a single time fighting him because it's very easy to just dodge. The only thing that was annoying was he has one move where it looks like he's just putting the hammer back on his shoulder, but he's actually getting ready to wind up another attack. And then the another annoying part is him like swiping his hand across the area and sending a wave because it looks like he's doing a different attack. So like really the hard part about this boss is just trying to figure out which attack he's doing because he has like 7 that look the same. And that's really the only hard part about this fight. I beat him pretty quickly, and I was a little disappointed because at the time I thought this was the last fight of the game. So, you know, at the time I was like, well, that was easy as fuck. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this fight. I know a lot of people might think that he should be ranked higher, but I have a good explanation as to why he's number 5, but he can't get ranked any higher. You know, I was pretty let down by how easy and how fast I beat him. Yeah, whatever. Coming in at number fucking 4. I hate this boss so much, bro. I don't know if it's because I spent the whole fucking day on Puppet King, and then after I got finished with it, I had to fight this as the next boss. But you'll notice I actually summoned someone here. But I want to make something very clear. This boss is not hard, bro. This boss is so fucking poorly designed. This arena is not big enough for the first phase of this boss. After I figured out that this shit has a phase 2, I was fucking pissed, bro. This is so dumb. The running thing, like, if he's coming after you, you're getting hit by it. Unless you do a perfect fucking parry or whatever. But, I mean, bro, I was so mad when I beat this thing for the first time, and then there was a phase 2, because I'm like, there's no way. The fact that it hits you one time, and you get decay, and your weapon is just broken while you're trying to defend after it, like, rushing after you. I could have sat there and just tried my hardest to beat it that day, but, bro, I was so sick of it, I just summoned a Spectre, and it was the only one in the entire game that I actually did that for. So, you know, you can say whatever you want, but I gotta say, this boss is not hard. This boss is so gimmicky, bro. Like, the arena's not big enough. The decay just builds up so quick. And, I mean, this shit is so annoying. I have nothing good to say about this boss, and it is by far my least favorite of the entire game. Okay, now we're getting into the top 3 bosses of the video. So obviously we knew that like the last five bosses of the game were gonna be here. Obviously, as you get towards the end of the game, that's where the harder bosses are gonna be. But I didn't really have a hard time deciding whether, the top three bosses were gonna be in any specific order, just because the amount of tries that these bosses took me were very obvious on how easy or hard the bosses were. This one did not take me that long. This boss took me like an hour, maybe less, honestly. It didn't really take me that long. I really liked the combo string that this boss had attached to it because I felt like a lot of the other bosses were just kind of no flow, just swinging a giant thing, you just have to run around it kind of thing. And then this boss had really good flow to it. During the second phase, it was definitely harder to see the attacks coming. There was a lot of unblockables, and then I just started using the perfect parrier thing. And then the boss was pretty easy. I mean, I wouldn't say easy, but it was definitely a lot easier once I realized I'm just gonna use a stamina bar to actually perfect parry it. But yeah, this boss is really cool. I really do like this boss, but definitely cannot be number one or two just because of the ones we have coming up next. But definitely a top three boss for sure. Ooh, the King of Puppets. Okay, this is definitely, man, I want to say this is my favorite fight of the entire game. This fight is so sick. I mean, I definitely understand why they had two phases to it. I mean, the first one takes forever to kill, and you have to be pretty perfect to go into the second phase with all your heals. I mean, you're gonna get hit by some dumb shit here and there, but this fight was so hard because you had to go into the second fight with all of your heals because the second phase is so fucking hard, bro. I think I spent, let me think. I think it had to have been a day on this fight. I don't think I beat it for an entire day. Like not straight of doing it, but pretty damn close. It might have been like a couple hours, like actually just doing this like straight up. Definitely more than 10 attempts. I don't know exactly how many, but holy shit, bro. This second phase, specifically where he lights his scythe on fire and then he hits you like 45 times and there's no way you can parry it or have enough stamina by the end to like parry everything, was so overwhelming. But holy shit, this fight was fucking amazing. Like, it's got to be in the top 20 of my favorite boss fights of all time because I mean the look of the fucking Puppet King into the second phase was insane. I love this fight, everything about it. I love the rhythm that it also has in the second fight. Like, it goes from a giant fucking puppet that's just kind of swinging around, doesn't really have too many patterns, to like a 1v1 puppet versus puppet fight. It's just so sick. But it was hard as fuck. But, I love that about Souls games. So, definitely the second hardest, and I think we all know what the hardest one is. This shit is no joke, bro. I honestly want to put this on the same level as Consort Radahn, except for I think that this fight might actually be harder than Consort Radahn. The first phase, you can figure out pretty quickly. It has like a certain amount of moveset, you know, and they all are pretty punishable. The pairing is really not too bad, but it has so much health that you're bound to make like a little mistake here and there and just waste your healing. And the literal only possible way to beat the second fight is having all of your heals with you. Like, this shit took me like 2 or 3 days, bro. I was stuck on this fight for so long, bro. Like, Consort Radahn took me 5 hours straight of fighting. And I honestly think Lanciax took me like maybe 7 hours to beat, like, of me doing. No, definitely not 7 hours, because I could only fight him for like an hour and a half until like I gave up. This shit is so fucking hard because of the second phase. I fought this boss for so many hours, and I don't know a single combo that the second phase has. I could not tell you. The entire time that I was fighting this boss, I was like just praying it was about to hit me and I got a good parry. It wasn't until however many attempts later that I realized that if you parry the lightning, it actually sends it back at her and it does damage. That was the fucking game changer. That and doing a perfect parry with a little bit of Fable allows you to stop the like jumping down attack that it does to you. Bro, without those, I think I'd still be on it. This shit is hard as fuck and is definitely the #1 hardest boss in Lies of P.
Oh my god! Oh my